we're just like, you know what, I just need to get a job. I just need to graduate, not realizing that there is so much more for us. And I know personally that making six figures financially can change your life. And a lot of us are struggling, trying to cut expenses and take second jobs. And I'm like, you already have the education. So I tell my clients, don't think about like what you see plastered on TV as this is the place where you need to work. Like simply look at, what do you watch your TV on? Oh, I have a Samsung. Let's look at what Samsung is. What kind of jobs do they have?
All right, welcome back to this episode of the How to Get a Job podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how to land a six-figure job. And to talk about this, I have Melissa Fleury with me. She is a career and leadership coach, a TEDx speaker, and author. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
How are you
I
doing
am
today?
doing well. As you're saying, like it's Friday, one of my favorite days because now I get to wind out from everything that's been happening throughout the week, but it's been really good.
Love it. So help me tell us, how did you get into helping people land six figures job, their first six-figure job?
Yeah, sure. So initially, I guess let me give you some background on me. So, like you said, I am a career and leadership coach, but I actually have a 9 to 5. I work as a director of asset management for a commercial real estate firm. And I've been doing that for like almost 10 years. And throughout my time of graduating from college, I've always been the person that people came to, like, hey, could you help me with my resume? Hey, can you help me with this interview? And so for me, I was just helping because I was always in internships and activities that worked on my professional development. And it wasn't until what I call a pivot point in my career where I was laid off. I never expected it, that people still kept coming to me to help them with their career. And I was like, how can I help you? And I'm still trying to help myself, you know? And what ended up happening is that initially someone will say, I just need my resume done. And then when I start to dive deeper into what do you actually want to do with your career past just getting this job? And particularly when it came to women, they were like, you know, I want to be in leadership roles. I want to be in something that has more influence and impact. And when we really started dialing down on what those job titles were, I'm like, you know, these are six-figure roles, right? These are things that you've already been doing. And so I just made it my mission to really get people into not only the dream jobs that they wanted, but also in the financial space that allowed them to do all of the things that they had on their financial goals.
Yeah, no, I love it. I can relate. I just shared a meme on my Instagram. It was like, where it says like where your friends come and ask you for advice, and you have like the tip buttons, like 15%, 20%, 30%. I felt like very similar to you. It's like before I became a career coach 10 years ago, I was just a guy to go ask about, like, hey, how did you do this? Or can you review my resume? Or do you know a lot of people, can you make the introduction? And I think that's kind of my way too into the career coaching space. So really love to hear that. I think, I love like your tagline on LinkedIn. I like, you help people break into the six figures. And I think that's a huge mile marker, because that just allows you to have a level of independence where you're no longer having to worry about like when you go out and you swipe your card, if that's going to matter. Now, obviously, you still need a budget. All of that's important, but I think it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders if you can break the six-figure mark. And so for me, I would like to ask you, why six figures? Why did you decide to use that as a massive goal?
I think going to school, most of us thought that, oh, if I get six figures, like I made it. Like I am set for life, right? And of course, like things have changed. Expensive has increased. Inflation is out of this world. But six figures is still significant amount of money. And one thing that I realized, I hosted a webinar a couple of weeks ago about how to land your first six-figure job. And the amount of firsts that were in the audience. And what I mean by that is first generation Americans, first people to go off to college, first to, do whatever it is, right? And so a lot of us are the first within our family, right? And we're just trying to figure it out. We're just like, you know what? I just need to get a job. I just need to graduate, not realizing that there is so much more for us. And I know personally that making six figures financially can change your life. And a lot of us are struggling trying to cut expenses and take second jobs. And I'm like, you already have the education, like you already have the experience, but we just need to articulate it in a way where companies are willing and able to pay you the six-figure salary so that you can do the things that you want to do.
What do you think is the biggest like challenge, maybe limiting beliefs that we have trying to break into that six figures?
One, we think that we're too young, right? We think that making six figures are those that are like in their 50s or 60s. We feel like we don't have enough education. So I hear a lot of clients will say, well, maybe I should go get my master's or maybe I should get additional certification. And one thing that I say is that you definitely can use education to up level your skills, increase your connections. But if you think that just having the piece of paper is going to get you six figures, like, no, like there's a lot of work that goes on the back end, you know? So I just really want people to understand that you have to understand what your value is. Like you have to know what you bring to corporate, how you can influence change, how you can drive revenue and expenses. Like all of those things are you understanding your value and your worth. So like some of those limiting beliefs we definitely have to get past, but once they have like that aha moment, it's like, oh, six figures is now the bare minimum for me.
Yeah, yeah. I agree so much with what you're saying about like odds are you don't need another certification, you don't need another degree. You just need to be able to one assess what skills do you already possess, what companies, what jobs, what industries are already willing to pay for that six figures. And I think you're gonna realize that it's you're only like first a mindset away, but it's like just tweaking it and understanding what pays that. I see that all the time. Like I work with a lot of students right out of college, and we work with a lot of STEM students. So some of them do break six figures right out of college, but their master's degree in computer science. And the difference between someone making $70,000 or $75,000 and someone making 130, 140 is just simply on what industry and what company they're applying for. Same job, same requirements. Just if you go to an industry like in the tech industry or pharmaceutical or finance or consulting, they pay more, right? Because they have better profit margins as a company, so they're willing to pay more to attract better margins. So, what are some of those companies or industries that you've seen that are paying those six-figure jobs?
Yeah. Of course, what's in right now and what's sexy is the tech industry, right? And the thing about the tech industry is that although they're paying those six-figure jobs, it's still extremely competitive. And I tell my clients, don't overlook some of the quote unquote unsexy or archaic jobs because nine times out of 10, they're going to give you the work life balance that you want. They're still going to give you the salary that you want, and they're also going to give you their experience. So some of those industries include financial services and banking. Also include healthcare is a huge one. Like healthcare systems are paying six figures for some of these administrative roles. In addition to that, you have certain functions that honestly carry across different industries, like program management or project management, becoming a scrum master. Another one that a lot of people don't even think about, and that's why I tell my clients, like, think about like your everyday services and your everyday products that you use. Like that's a company, right? So when you think about taking Tylenol or any of your prescription drugs, like that's the pharmaceutical industry and they pay a lot of money. So I tell my clients, don't think about like what you see plastered on TV as this is the place where you need to work. Like simply look at what do you watch your TV on? Oh, I have a Samsung. Let's look at what Samsung is. What kind of jobs do they have? So like those are types some of the exercises that I go through with my clients.
Yeah, I love it. And what about if I don't like for the individuals listening to this that might not have a degree?
All right. So if you don't have a degree, the question I have is, do you have experience, right? Because at this point in time, I'm looking at a lot of job descriptions that are no longer requiring bachelor's degrees or requiring a master's degree. And they'll put something in like, if you don't have a bachelor's degree, 7 years of relevant experience preferred, right? So now we just need to position yourself to, okay, do you have project management experience? How can we talk about some of the things that you've done for your company or done for your employer, or any of those things? So it's really about taking audit of those things. Something else I will say, right? Because we said you don't necessarily have to get a bachelor's, you don't necessarily have to get a certification. there are times where it actually is needed. Like, I'm not a genie. I can't make a six-figure job appear, right? So if you feel that you actually have an education and skills gap, then go back to school. Like, absolutely go back to school and make sure that you're getting the appropriate skills that you need in order to come out with the job that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think, sometimes we overthink the trade jobs, like like the AC HVAC companies, like the plumbers, the people that work for the cable companies that are installing those cables. Like I was having conversations. I have a friend. There's a massive shortage of electricians in just in the United States alone, to the point where those.
It's funny you say that. I said if I could go back and do this all over again, I would have became an electrician. Like, I so would have done it. Like, not only the amount of money, but just the flexibility and being able to build out your own business. Like, man, I would have done that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, electricians are in massive demand, and then you just start your own business, and you can even learn how to do that in like less than 2 years. You start as an electrician apprentice, and all these companies will even pay you to go to like a community college to learn like the skill sets, because there's such a demand for that. Same thing, like I had talked to the guy. I have Spectrum internet. They came and fixed it last week, and I was like, he was asking me about what I do. He's like, oh, nice house. Like, what do you do? So I was asking him, how long you've been doing it, and he was like, he's been doing it for 13 years, and the guy makes over six figures and never went to school. Like, he's like, hey, they just pay really well. Like, I love it here, and I love being outside. I love talking to people, and it's like massive demand. And so I think a lot of people are thinking like, hey, college is the only route, but no, and those are the last jobs that you can automate, right? ChatGPT can't do the electrician for you. ChatGPT can't come in and put all the cables or fix your plumbing. Like, that's not going to happen anytime. Those are the last jobs that'll be automated and be
Yes, yes,
replaced.
yes. I agree with you.
Melissa, so tell me a little bit more. What can people like? If I'm thinking like, hey, I'm listening to this. Melissa, I hear what you're saying. I want to make six figures. How do I start doing? What are the next 3 steps that I need to be thinking about?
The first thing that I tell people to do is audit your skills. When it comes to making a career transition, one thing I tell my clients is that you don't have to continue doing what you've been doing, and you also don't have to continue doing things that you don't like. And an example of this is that if you've been, well, I'll say for like my fields, like I'm in commercial real estate, there's so many different avenues of commercial real estate that I could pivot into. But if I don't like underwriting and valuations, like just because I can do it doesn't mean that the next role I have to tell them that that's what I do, because I feel that that's the only way in order for me to get a six-figure job. So I say list out all of the things that you've done, like the things that you like to do, the things that you hate to do, and now let's look at the things that you like and love to do and figure out what job titles will actually pay you to keep doing the things that you like and love to do. And so from there, we start building out, okay, what experiences that you've done that lend to project management, that lend to customer success manager, and we're building out your resume. In addition to that, now we're also looking at, okay, now we know the companies you want to work for, who works there. Like at this point, I tell people the way that we used to apply to a jobs is completely dead. Like you're not just going to go on Indeed or whatever website and just hit apply all day, right? You really need to have warm relationships with people where they're either willing to refer you or also just make the connections for you for the hiring managers or the recruiters, right? Because at the end of the day, I also tell my clients is that although a relationship might not immediately give you a job or an opportunity, who's to say that relationship won't give you an opportunity 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now? So we're really not just looking for a job. We're making sure that you have a sustainable six-figure career throughout your lifetime.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, I know that you help people break into six figures. Can you share a little bit more about your services, what you do, and how can people get a hold of you or reach out to you if they want to work with
Yes,
you?
absolutely. So the best way to reach out to me is LinkedIn. I think Daniel and I are always going to say LinkedIn, LinkedIn, LinkedIn. It's helped us both in professionally as well as our business. So you can reach out to me, my full name, Melissa Fleury. As far as services, so I do have a coaching program that I offer that's specifically designed to help you land your first six-figure role. I do have like about a couple more spots, one-on-one for the rest of the year. However, something major that I will be launching in 2024 is a mastermind, which will be centered in January to specifically knock out those items that are prohibiting you from applying for your job. So we're going to go through six-figure resume writing, interview prep, salary negotiations, as well as building out your LinkedIn profile. So I am accepting people for the wait list. And if you are interested, you can email me at hello, 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 at thebrandedcareer.com.
Love it, love it. I'm gonna actually put all those links that you just talked about from your LinkedIn to your website and your email all in the show notes. So if you guys are interested, well, definitely just check the show notes. Melissa, thank you so much. Look, if you're listening to this, either you or you know someone that's been saying, hey, I just want to break to six figures. I just can't figure out a way to do this. Have them share this episode with them. Do them a favor. Have them listen to Melissa and I's advice about how to do it. And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. Thank you all so much for listening. Melissa, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for the invite.
I'll catch you guys on the next. Absolutely. Bye, everyone.